Have you ever looked at someone and thought, they would never hurt me, they would never lie to me, they would never leave me? Then one day, everything changed. One conversation, one decision, one moment, and suddenly, you saw a side of them you never thought existed. Your heart broke, not only because of what they did, but because the person you believed in seemed to disappear. Or were they never that person to begin with? My dear brother, my dear sister, what if the hardest truth you discovered was actually one of Allah's greatest mercies? What if Allah allowed the mask to fall before you built your entire future upon it? Because sometimes, the greatest blessing is not finding the right person. Sometimes, the greatest blessing is Allah saving you from the wrong one. Tonight, you will discover 5 powerful lessons from Islam that will completely change the way you see heartbreak, disappointment, and the people who leave your life. And I promise you, the final lesson is one that many people only understand years later, after Allah has already changed their life. So stay with me until the end. This reminder may help you understand why Allah showed you their true character before it was too late. If reminders like this strengthen your faith and bring peace to your heart, subscribe to the channel and join us as we grow closer to Allah, one reminder at a time. Now, let's begin. Allah, let time reveal what love could not. There is something about the human heart. It wants to believe the best about the people it loves. When you begin to care for someone, you naturally focus on the things that make you happy. Their smile, their kind words, the way they make you feel important, the attention they give you, the promises they make, the hope they place inside your heart. Slowly, without even realizing it, your heart begins to build a picture of that person, not from who they truly are, but from who you hope they will be. You start believing, they would never lie to me, they would never leave me, they would never hurt me, they are different from everyone else. Sometimes, these thoughts are true, but sometimes, they are only the dreams of a hopeful heart. My dear brother, my dear sister, this is why Islam teaches us not to rush our trust. Not because Islam wants us to become suspicious of everyone, but because Allah knows real character is never revealed in one day. Anyone can be kind when life is easy. Anyone can smile when they are getting what they want. Anyone can sound sincere when there is nothing to lose. Anyone can speak beautifully when words cost them nothing. But life does not stay easy forever. Sooner or later, every person faces a test, and it is during those moments that true character begins to appear. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us to look beyond appearances. A person's real character is known through their actions, their dealings with others, and how they respond when they are tested. Watch how someone behaves when they become angry. Watch how they speak when they disagree with you. Watch how they treat people who cannot benefit them. Watch how they behave when nobody is praising them. Watch how they act when they have the chance to choose between what is right and what is easy. These moments reveal far more than years of beautiful words, because words can be prepared. Actions cannot. A mask can be worn for a while, but no one can wear it forever. Time has a way of removing every mask, not because people always want to reveal themselves, but because pretending becomes difficult. A person who is only pretending to be patient will eventually lose their patience. Someone pretending to be honest will eventually tell a lie. Someone pretending to care will eventually stop making the effort. Someone pretending to respect you will eventually show disrespect. Not overnight, but little by little. One conversation, one decision, one difficult situation, one disappointment, then another, until one day, you begin to notice a pattern. And that is when your heart whispers, "This is not the person I thought they were." At first, you may refuse to believe it. You make excuses for them. They're just stressed. They didn't mean it. They're having a bad day. Everyone deserves understanding. Everyone makes mistakes. Islam teaches us to forgive. Islam teaches us to think well of others. But Islam never teaches us to ignore repeated harm. There is a difference between showing mercy and closing your eyes to the truth. Sometimes, we become so emotionally attached that we defend people even when they continue hurting us. We protect their image while they keep breaking our trust, not because we are weak, but because our hearts are afraid. Afraid that if we accept the truth, we will also have to accept the loss. That is one of the hardest battles a person can face, accepting that the person you loved may not be the person you imagined. Then you ask, Ya Allah, why didn't I see this before? Perhaps because before today, you were looking through the eyes of hope, not through the eyes of wisdom. Hope is beautiful, but hope alone cannot protect your future. Allah, in His perfect knowledge, knows what is hidden inside every heart. He knows every intention, every secret, every lie that has never been spoken aloud, every truth that people try to hide. You and I can only see what people choose to show us, but Allah sees what no human eye can ever see. That is why sometimes Allah allows time to do what emotions cannot. Day after day, month after month, situation after situation, the truth slowly comes into the light. Not all at once, because if everything were revealed in one moment, many of us would refuse to believe it. Instead, Allah allows reality to speak for itself. The excuses become fewer. The patterns become clearer. The mask becomes heavier. Until finally, it falls. And when it does, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts because you are not only losing a person, you are losing the future you imagined with them. You are letting go of dreams, conversations, plans, memories. You are grieving not only who they were, but who you believed they could become. Yet even in that pain, there may be mercy. Imagine if the truth had remained hidden. Imagine if years had passed before you discovered the same character. Imagine if children were involved. Imagine if your whole future had already been built on a foundation that could not hold. Would that pain have been easier or much greater? Sometimes, the tears you cry today are saving you from tears that would have been far heavier tomorrow. Allah says in the Qur'an that you may dislike something while it is good for you, and you may love something while it is bad for you. Allah knows, while you do not know. This verse reminds us of a truth we often forget. Our hearts see today. Allah sees forever. Our hearts see one chapter. Allah sees the entire story. So if Allah allows someone's real character to become clear, do not only ask, why did this happen to me? Also ask, what is Allah protecting me from? That one question may completely change the way you see your pain. Never make this your only dua. Ya Allah, give me the person I want. Instead say, Ya Allah, if they are good for my faith, my heart, and my future, bring them closer to me. But if they will lead me away from you, no matter how much I love them, give me the strength to let them go and replace my loss with something better. Because my dear brother, my dear sister, a painful truth will always be better than a beautiful lie that lasts only for a little while. Every hidden character has a day of exposure. There is one thing about the truth. It can be delayed, but it can never stay hidden forever. A person may hide their real character for weeks, sometimes for months, sometimes even for years. They may know exactly what to say, how to behave, how to earn your trust, how to make you feel special, how to appear kind, honest, respectful, faithful. From the outside, everything looks beautiful. Everyone around you may even say, "You are so lucky. They seem like such a good person. They would never hurt anyone." But my dear brother, my dear sister, only Allah knows what lives inside a person's heart. People can hide their intentions from you. They cannot hide them from Allah. This world is full of people who carefully protect their image. They want everyone to admire them, to praise them, to trust them. But image is not the same as character. Character is who you are when no one is watching. Character is what you choose when there is nothing to gain. Character is how you treat people who cannot benefit you. This is why Islam places so much importance on actions, not appearances. Because appearances can deceive, actions eventually reveal the truth. Have you ever noticed how someone can seem perfect until life becomes difficult? The moment they become angry, a different side appears. The moment they are told no, their respect disappears. The moment they stop getting what they want, their kindness begins to fade. The moment they have power over someone, their true nature comes out. These moments are not accidents. They are moments of exposure. Allah allows certain situations to happen because they reveal what words never could. Think about gold. Before it shines, it is placed into intense fire. The fire does not create the gold. It only reveals what was already there. People are often the same. Tests do not create character. They reveal it. A person who is honest will remain honest during hardship. A person who fears Allah will continue fearing Allah even when nobody is watching. A person with a sincere heart will stay sincere even when life becomes difficult. But someone whose goodness was only an act will eventually become tired of pretending. The mask begins to slip. Then it slips again, until one day, it falls completely. Sometimes, that day feels like your whole world has collapsed. You sit alone thinking, was any of it real? Did they ever truly care? How did I not see this? These questions are natural, but do not spend your life blaming yourself. Remember, trusting someone is not a weakness. Loving someone is not a weakness. Wanting to see the good in people is not a weakness. The mistake is not that you cared. The mistake is refusing to accept the truth. After Allah has made it clear, some people keep chasing someone, even after seeing repeated disrespect, repeated lies, repeated broken promises, repeated betrayal. Not because they cannot see the truth, but because they cannot let go of the dream. And sometimes, the dream becomes more important than reality. This is where many hearts suffer, not because Allah hid the truth, but because they continued hiding from the truth themselves. Allah gives people chances. Allah gives signs. Allah gives reminders, sometimes through words, sometimes through situations, sometimes through the way a person repeatedly treats you. If the same harmful behavior keeps returning, do not ignore it simply because you hope it will disappear. Hope is beautiful, but wisdom is also part of faith. Our religion teaches us to have a good opinion of others, but it also teaches us not to close our eyes to clear patterns. There is a difference between forgiving someone and pretending nothing happened. There is a difference between showing mercy and allowing yourself to be harmed again and again. One of the greatest gifts Allah can give a believer is clarity. Because once the truth becomes clear, you can make decisions with wisdom instead of emotions. Perhaps today, your heart is hurting because someone's real character has been exposed. Maybe they broke a promise. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they showed you a side of themselves you never imagined existed. Do not rush to think, my life is ruined. Instead, ask yourself, what if Allah allowed me to see this now, because He knew I would not survive seeing it later? That question changes everything. Never forget, Allah is never late. If someone's real character has finally become clear, then perhaps this was the right time for you to see it. Not when you wanted, but when Allah, in His perfect wisdom, knew you needed it most. Because every hidden character has a day of exposure, and every painful truth brings a believer one step closer to the future Allah knows is better for them. Allah removed the illusion before it became your reality. One of the hardest things to accept is that sometimes we are not attached to the person. We are attached to the picture we created of them. There is a difference, a very big difference. The person standing in front of you and the person living inside your imagination are not always the same. Sometimes, we fall in love with possibilities. We tell ourselves, they will change. Once they feel secure, everything will be different. They didn't mean it. They'll become better with time. They just need another chance. Without realizing it, we begin building our future on hope instead of reality. My dear brother, my dear sister, hope is beautiful, but hope cannot replace the truth. Islam teaches us to trust Allah, not our assumptions. Many hearts suffer because they keep loving the potential they imagine, instead of accepting the reality Allah has already shown them. They continue waiting for a version of someone that may never exist. Months pass, sometimes years. The person keeps showing the same behavior, the same disrespect, the same dishonesty, the same selfishness. Yet the heart keeps saying, maybe this time will be different. This is how illusions grow stronger, not because the other person changes, but because we keep feeding the illusion. Shaitan loves this, because when a person lives inside false hope, they stop seeing what is right in front of them. Every warning becomes an excuse. Every red flag becomes a misunderstanding. Every broken promise becomes, they're just having a difficult time. There is nothing wrong with giving people mercy. There is nothing wrong with forgiving. Our religion encourages forgiveness, but forgiveness does not mean ignoring reality. It does not mean pretending repeated harm is acceptable. It does not mean closing your eyes after Allah has opened them. Sometimes Allah allows one moment, one conversation, one action to remove years of illusion. Maybe you saw how they treated their parents. Maybe you saw how they spoke when they became angry. Maybe you discovered they had been lying. Maybe they abandoned you when you needed them most. In that moment, it feels as though your whole world is falling apart. But perhaps your imaginary world is falling apart so that you can finally live in the real one. Because Allah does not want His servant to spend a lifetime chasing something that was never real. Think about a traveler walking toward what looks like water in the desert. From far away, it seems real. The closer they walk, the more hope they have. But when they finally arrive, they discover it was only a mirage. Imagine if someone stopped that traveler halfway and said, "There is no water there." The traveler might become upset. He might even argue. He might think, "You ruined my dream." But in reality, that person saved his strength, saved his time, and perhaps saved his life. Many times, the illusion in our hearts is like that mirage. It looks so beautiful from a distance, but Allah, who knows the unseen, knows where that road truly ends. So before you travel too far, He allows reality to become clear. At first, you call it heartbreak. Later, you call it wisdom. There is a verse in the Qur'an that reminds us of something every believer should remember. Allah says that you may love something while it is bad for you, and you may dislike something while it is good for you. Allah knows, while you do not know. How many people have thanked Allah years later for a relationship that never happened? How many have looked back and said, if Allah had answered my dua the way I wanted, my life would have been much harder. At the time, they cried, they questioned, they felt abandoned. But later, they understood. Allah was not taking something good away. He was preventing something harmful from becoming permanent. Perhaps today, you still miss that person. That feeling is natural. Healing takes time. But do not confuse missing someone with believing they were right for you. You can miss someone and still know that walking away was necessary. You can pray for someone and still accept that they are not your destiny. You can remember the good moments without ignoring the painful truth. Real healing begins the moment you stop asking, why wasn't I enough? And start asking, what was Allah saving me from? That question changes your heart because it moves your focus from what you lost to the wisdom of the one who never loses sight of what is best for you. So if Allah has removed an illusion from your life, Do not rush to rebuild it. Do not paint the broken picture again. Do not return to a dream after Allah has awakened you from it. Instead, thank Allah for giving you something more valuable than temporary happiness. He gave you clarity, and clarity is one of the greatest blessings a believer can receive, because once the illusion is gone, your heart becomes free to wait for what is real, and what Allah writes for you will never need to hide behind an illusion. The heartbreak you feared may have been the protection you needed. There are moments in life when a closed door feels like the end of everything. You make plans, you make dua, you imagine your future. You believe, this is the person I will spend my life with. Then suddenly, everything changes. The relationship ends. The trust is broken. The distance grows. The conversations stop. The person you thought would stay forever walks away. Or perhaps, Allah removes them from your life in a way you never expected. In those moments, the pain can feel unbearable. You wonder, Ya Allah, why? I only wanted something good. I only wanted peace. I only wanted someone to love me. These are honest feelings. Many people have cried these same tears. But my dear brother, my dear sister, sometimes we only see what we lost. We forget to ask, what did Allah save me from? That question can completely change the way you see your story. As human beings, we only know what is in front of us. We see today's pain, today's disappointment, today's broken plans. But Allah sees every tomorrow. He sees every conversation that has not happened yet, every hardship that has not arrived, every tear that has not fallen, every danger that is still hidden from your eyes. That is why the believer learns to trust Allah's wisdom, even when the heart does not yet understand. The Qur'an teaches us a powerful truth. You may dislike something while it is good for you, and you may love something while it is harmful for you. Allah knows, and you do not know. Think about that for a moment. How many things have you wanted in life that later turned out to be wrong for you? Maybe it was a job. Maybe it was a friendship. Maybe it was a place you wanted to live. Or maybe it was a person you thought you could never live without. At that time, you believed losing them would destroy you. But months later, or years later, you looked back and realized, if that had continued, my life would have become much more difficult. This is something many believers experience, not because every hardship is easy, but because Allah's wisdom is greater than our understanding. Sometimes, the greatest blessing does not arrive by giving you something. It arrives by removing something. A believer often asks Allah, Ya Allah, give me what is best for me. But when Allah answers that dua, the answer may not always look the way we expected. Sometimes, the answer is not a new relationship. Sometimes, the answer is ending the wrong one. Imagine a parent watching a small child run toward a deep hole. The child cannot see the danger. All the child sees is something they want. Just before reaching it, the parent pulls them back. The child cries. The child becomes upset. The child thinks, my parent stopped me from being happy. But the parent knows that one more step would have caused great harm. Now think about this. If a human parent protects their child, even when the child does not understand, then what about Allah, whose mercy is greater than any mercy we know? Could it be that some things Allah removes are not punishments, but protection? Perhaps the heartbreak you are carrying today is protecting your faith, protecting your peace, protecting your future children, protecting your dignity, protecting your relationship with Allah. There are people who looked perfect at the beginning, but after marriage, their true character became clear. Some became controlling, some became dishonest, some neglected their responsibilities, some brought years of sadness into another person's life. When you hear these stories, you realize something. The pain of walking away early is often much lighter than the pain of remaining in the wrong place for years. This does not mean that every relationship must end, nor does it mean that every difficulty is a sign to leave. Relationships require patience, forgiveness, good communication, and sincere effort from both people. But when someone repeatedly shows harmful character, refuses to change, and continues to break trust, ignoring the truth will not make the truth disappear. Sometimes, walking away is not giving up. Sometimes, walking away is accepting that Allah has shown you enough. My dear brother, my dear sister, never measure Allah's mercy only by what He gives you. Also measure it by what He keeps away from you. There are blessings you can hold in your hands, and there are blessings you may never even know about. The accident that never happened, the wrong decision you never made, the friendship that ended before it destroyed your peace, the relationship that ended before it became your lifelong regret. One day, when you stand before Allah, you may discover that many of the things that broke your heart were actually protecting your heart all along. So if today you are grieving someone you had to let go, do not lose hope. Do not believe your story has ended. Allah has never promised that every chapter will be easy, but He has promised that He is with those who are patient, those who trust Him, and those who continue to return to Him. Perhaps this closed door is only making room for a door you cannot yet see, because Allah never removes something from the life of a believer, except that His wisdom is greater than our understanding, even if our hearts need time to finally understand it. The truth that broke your heart may be the reason your future is safe. As we come to the end of this reminder, there is one final truth, a truth that many people do not understand until years have passed. Today, you may still be asking, why did this happen to me? But one day, if Allah wills, you may find yourself asking a completely different question. What if this was one of the greatest blessings Allah ever gave me? That day, everything changes. You stop looking at your story through the eyes of pain, and you begin looking at it through the eyes of faith. My dear brother, my dear sister, there are blessings that feel like blessings. A new opportunity, a righteous spouse, a healthy child, a sincere friend. But there are also blessings that arrive wearing the clothes of hardship, a closed door, a broken engagement, a friendship that ends, someone walking away, someone revealing who they truly are. At first, you call it loss. Later, you realize it was protection. This is why a believer never judges Allah's plan by one painful moment, because one chapter is not the whole story. Imagine reading only one page of a book, a page filled with sadness. You would never understand the ending. You would never know how the story turns out. Life is the same. Many people think their story ended when someone left them, but Allah was only turning the page. Sometimes we become so focused on one person that we forget the one who controls every heart. Our happiness slowly becomes connected to someone's attention, someone's messages, someone's promises, someone's presence. And without realizing it, our hearts begin depending on people more than they depend on Allah. Then Allah, in His perfect wisdom, allows that attachment to break. Not because He wants to distance you from happiness, but because He wants to bring your heart back to Him. Because no human being can carry the place in your heart that belongs only to Allah. People change, feelings change, situations change, but Allah never changes. His mercy never changes. His wisdom never changes. His promises never fail. His promises never fail. That is why the safest heart is the heart that is attached to Allah first, before it becomes attached to anyone else. Perhaps today, you still miss that person. That is natural. Healing is not instant. Even Yaqub, peace be upon him, cried because he missed his son Yusuf, be upon him. Islam does not teach us to pretend that pain does not exist. Islam teaches us where to take that pain. Take it to Allah. Tell Him everything. Cry to Him. Make dua in the quiet hours of the night. Ask Him to remove the heaviness from your chest. Ask Him to replace your sadness with peace. Ask Him to fill the empty space in your heart with closeness to Him. Because when Allah heals a heart, no one can break it in the same way again. Remember this: not every person who leaves your life was meant to stay. Not every relationship was written to become a marriage. Not every dream was written to become your reality. Sometimes, Allah lets people enter your life to teach you something, to make you stronger, to increase your patience, to bring you closer to Him. And once that purpose is complete, their chapter ends. But Allah's care for you never ends. One day, you may meet the person Allah has truly written for you. And when you look back, you may finally understand why the other doors had to close. You may smile, not because the pain was easy, but because Allah never abandoned you. He was guiding you, even when you could not see His wisdom. So if your heart is broken today, do not think your future is broken too. If someone disappointed you, do not think every person will do the same. If one door has closed, do not believe that every door is closed forever. As long as Allah is writing your story, there is always hope. There is always mercy. There is always another page. Trust His timing. Trust His wisdom. Trust His promise. Because the one who knows your past also knows your future. And the one who protected you yesterday will continue to protect you tomorrow. So before we end this reminder, raise your heart to Allah and say, Ya Allah, never let my heart become attached to anything that takes me away from you. If someone is good for my faith, my character, and my future, bring them into my life with your blessing. But if someone will harm my deen, my peace, or my akhirah, no matter how much I love them, remove them with your mercy. Replace every loss with something better. Strengthen my trust in you. Fill my heart with patience. Guide me to what pleases you. And never let me mistake a temporary loss for the end of your blessings. Ameen. Always remember, the truth may break your heart for a moment, but a hidden lie can break your life. When Allah allows the truth to become clear, even through tears, hold firmly to Him, because the future He has written for you will always be better than the illusion He saved you from. If this reminder touched your heart, take a moment tonight and ask Allah for something more valuable than the person you want. Ask Him for clarity. Ask Him for wisdom. Ask Him to protect your heart from what looks good, but is not good for you. Because when Allah protects you, even a painful goodbye can become the beginning of a better future. If this reminder benefited you, share it with someone who may need it today. And if you want more reminders that strengthen your faith and bring peace to your heart, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey of growing closer to Allah. May Allah fill your heart with peace, guide you to what is best, protect you from every hidden harm, and bless you with people who bring you closer to Him in this life and the next. Ameen.